Fake the handoff. Tannehill. Time off because that was a Thursday night game. Fake the handoff. Tannehill looking. Tannehill going to take a deep shot. Downfield. Burks goes up and gets it. Big grab. Rookie against rookie. Taylor Britt, the defender, 52 yards.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 91.
What is up, Titan Nation? Hope everybody's doing well out there. Thank y'all for tuning in tonight. Hopefully we can get a decent crowd in here tonight. We could talk some Titans football. We got a guest tonight. Titans for Life will be making his comeback tonight. He's been out for a while. He's had some issues, but we're glad he's back and glad to have him on the show. But we're gonna break down the game tonight, man. We're gonna talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. This one hurt. This one hurt really bad, and I'll just bring James in here because he was at the last Bengals game with me, and we got to talk about this. What's up, brother?
How you doing? Yeah.
Good, man. And last year, right, I flew up from South Florida. We met, sat together, 16-degree weather. We endured that triple interception hat trick by Tannehill. And I came to this game. Unfortunately, you didn't get to go to this game. Well, fortunately, you didn't get to go to this game. And here we stand again. Another just ugly. It was just being at the game, and you can give your perspective as far as like watching it or whatever on TV. But being at the game, it was just like, it was this feel throughout the stadium of like, almost like the crowd was nervous we were going to lose. Like, they would get loud at times, and it was just like, we just didn't have an answer offensively in the red zone. And it just kind of did this throughout the whole game, just kind of boring, play here, play there, doing everything we can to stop Burrow, bend, don't break type. It was kind of back to that kind of bend, don't break type of defense rather than rushing the passer, aggressive type of physicality. That's kind of how I felt. Like we kind of reverted back to like mid-season defense from last year where we were good, but we weren't great. You know what I mean? Like it's just not enough things to happen, but kind of give your opinion on how you felt about it.
Well, defensively, I felt we played extremely well for, the injuries that we have. It was clear Tear Tart was not 100%. Just some things that he couldn't do. So I really think that played quite a bit of a role because we're used to getting a ton of pressure defensively with our front lineup, and we weren't able to do some of that some of the time because I don't think he had the same explosiveness defensively. Also, I think that our secondary had a rough one. There were some things that they really had issues with, particularly when they weren't playing man to man. When they played zone, against a really good quarterback, playing zone is not your best option lots of times, just simply because especially if they have what weapons on the on the offensive side where they can sit down in those zones, and that quarterback's not going to miss those throws, and that's what down the stretch kind of hurt us. Offensively, I felt that it was actually a pretty decent game called. I really do think it was a decent game called. I think that we were just not making plays when we needed to make plays. And then that
Yeah.
last penalty I'm not so sure that that really was a penalty. Yes, he did contact the center, but he was blocked into the center. Therefore, technically, he didn't initiate contact with the center. It was the guard that
Right.
caused that. So I would really love to see the explanation from the NFL if that really was, if that should have been a flag. Of course, they're gonna say it probably would have. That it should have been, but I really want to see how that is not being blocked in, because if you think about it, if I'm a guard from here on out with that kind of call, the first thing I'm going to do is push push that tackle into that tackle or the nose guard into my center, and I'm going to get me a flag and an automatic first down.
Right.
So,
Yeah, it was rough. It was
yeah,
definitely rough.
and I thought that they really contained Derrick Henry off the run a lot. But we were finding more creative ways, which is something that we've been yelling for 2 years now. Get creative ways to get Derrick the ball where he can do some stuff out in space, because it's hard to bring him down. And when they threw him the ball out of that backfield, boy, he was getting chunks.
Yeah, he was, and I wanted to ask you this too. As far as and I got a thing, PFF grades of our offensive line for that game, and it's pretty rough overall. Like, the numbers are pretty staggering. Now, I mean, I know PFF is not the end all be all to that type of stuff, but it is pretty staggering how poorly they played and how poorly they were just run blocking. I mean, they just weren't getting off their blocks at all. They were getting beat on the line of scrimmage all game. How much do you attribute the run game not going to either A, Derrick Henry, B, our offensive line, or C, the Bengals defensive line and how they were playing the run game?
Well, I mean, it's hard to say that our offensive line played really bad. They didn't play that bad. They were just bringing more than we could block. I mean, it was that
Right.
simple. I mean, if we had five to block, they were bringing six or seven. I do think Dylan Radens made several bad choices. Um, uh, and blocking. Particularly there was a play where Derrick Henry gets stopped behind the line of scrimmage, where he blocked down right, in which caused the double team on the defensive player, and then they had a guy just come clean untouched, and that right there can't happen. You excuse me. You have to really understand what's going on. And he missed his assignment, because you can see he comes off of that just as soon as he recognizes what he done wrong. He comes off of that and tries to block, but it's way too late by that point. He really made that kind of mistake, but he's young. This is kind of a new position on that left side, a guard for him, and so I can kind of understand a few of those, but he can't make those mistakes. That was a pretty
And
big mistake.
and speaking of the line too, and you guys let me know in the chat what you think of this particular question, and thank you all so much for tuning in. We got a lot of people in here tonight already. Sin City Titan team leader D9, Alex Mans, Andrew Frill, Shun Britton, Titan Bay in the house. Who else we got in here tonight? A lot of comments so far, and we'll get to them. Tony McKee, Titan Uploads in the building. Of course, this channel is a part of the Titan Upload Network, so please tighten up that like button and follow us. Follow us on Twitter. I'm on Instagram now. Believe that. So I'm on there now, Titans Rossi. So go follow us on there, guys, and we do appreciate your support greatly. So back to the O line, and Sin City's talking about the O line here. Aaron Brewer, right? So his grade, and I do want to show this real quick. I made this little graphic earlier from This is Pro Football Focus's grades, and I just want to put Aaron Brewer's up there because this is how bad they thought he did in run blocking. Now about kind of down the list there, you see Aaron Brewer, number 55, highlighted in red. If you go over, all the way over to the very right, no, it was pass blocking. I'm sorry that he was really bad in 39.3 rating in pass blocking for that game. I mean, it's terribly low. And then you go to his run blocking a little better. Actually, if you look at all the offensive linemen, well, he was low on that too. Overall, 56.9. But overall, if you look at the offensive line overall, and like I said, PFF is not the end all be all. Some of their ratings are insane. I've seen some things that just very questionable. But, Nate Davis had the best, 69.3. Then you had Aaron Brewer, Nicholas Petit Frere with the second best, 58.2. No, Dennis Daly, second best, 61.6. MPF, 58.2. Aaron Brewer, 56.9. Dylan Radins, 55.8. But the pass blocking grade in particular on Aaron Brewer, 39.3. That's just abysmal. And it just can't happen. And my question is for you in the chat, at this point in the season, you got Ben Jones. Hopefully Ben Jones will be back this week because he's been in concussion protocol for quite a while now. This is going on the second week, I thought. This would be the second game he missed in a row. Hopefully he'll be back next week because we saw in this game, we sorely miss him. And so would you move Aaron Brewer back to the left guard spot, or would you leave Radens there and let Brewer sit the bench and be a backup guy? And, what would you do? Or would you let him keep starting like he was? And y'all let me know in the chat too what y'all's opinion on that.
Well, first of all, his grade at center was and pass blocking is kind of understandable. I mean, that this is not his position, you know.
Right.
So you kind of get that. And to be honest with you, I'd rather for him to get the snap correct and get the ball back to back to the quarterback consistently in a good spot than maybe block if he can just slow him down enough. So I kind of give somewhat of a pass on, so to speak, on that. You can always have help. You can always help him out a little bit here or there. But yeah. So that I kind of understand. He's still trying to get the hang of it. Um, Concussions. Speaking from recent experience, concussions can linger quite a while. And so if I'm the coaching staff right now, I'm leading the division by a mile, by a country mile. So if I don't absolutely have to have Ben Jones back for some reason, I don't bring him back until I absolutely need him or something like that. Just because I know how devastating concussions are. But if
Right.
he is able to come back and I do bring him back, um, it's going to depend. I got to take my coaching hat off here, and now I've got to put my GM hat on. As a
Yeah.
GM, if I don't plan on keeping Aaron Brewer next year, or maybe I keep him in one more year, or whatever, if I'm thinking Dylan Radins is going to be my forever guard, um,
Mhm.
I keep him out there.
Yeah.
He's trial by fire. He's been out there several weeks. I just go ahead and keep him out there. And that if something happens, I've got a quality guy that I can bring in, you know, at left guard. Um, so that's how I'm thinking about it. If I think Dylan is going to be my starting right guard, or left guard, I keep him at left guard. If I think that I don't think he's going to work out, I put Aaron back out there. But I think that he
And
is going to be a starting left guard of the future for the Titans. Just Dylan Radins. I really do.
I do too. And let us know in the chat what y'all think. I mean, do you keep Radens out there, or do you guys like Brewer? Let us know what you think. There was a comment here I saw that kind of crossed my eye that I wanted to get to. And thank you guys for tuning in tonight. We appreciate it. We'll get to more of your comments here in a minute too. Frankie says, "Play Malik. We're winning the division." I mean, Frankie, I get what you're saying. A lot of people I've seen this on Twitter, but our best chance to win is with Ryan Tannehill. I think, it's been proven. He didn't have, I mean, he made some questionable throws in that game, but Ryan Tannehill, I don't think he was the reason we lost that game. I don't think he played, I mean, he didn't play great. He didn't play terrible. I mean, he threw 295 yards. I just it goes back to Downing. Okay, and I was thinking about this too. Was Downing terrible in this game? Was he okay? I thought he was mediocre. I thought he tried some things which I liked. The only issue that I have, James, is the personnel. Like Burks played more probably in this game than any game, I would
Yeah.
imagine. But it's the times that they're putting Burks out there. It seems like, and there was a guy behind me. He was awesome. This guy behind me, I was chopping it up with all game, and he was like, "Burks isn't out there," and it would be like an important 3rd down and 10 or a third. It's like they would take him off the field in all these key situations. And there was one particular play. I wish I had it recorded, or I wish I had the video of it, where they put Hollister. I don't even know who was in the play. I know Hollister was outside, right? And you think, okay, it's immediately going to be a run. Well, it is a run, but they run it to the left side. Hollister has nothing to do with the play at all. So to me, it's like, why wouldn't you at least put Burks out in that situation? If you're trying to trick them with the pass, then why would you not just stick Burks out there as a decoy if Hollister's not doing anything anyways? It blew my mind. I'm like, what in the hell is going on here? And that's the type of stuff where I feel like Todd Downing just like, he shows his inexperience, or he just shows his lack of fundamental play calling. I don't know, but I'm just a fan, man. I'm not a big X's and O's guy. I'm not, I could not call a probably a Pee-wee League game,
Well,
and I'm
to
not going to
me,
sit here, but it just blew my mind. Am I wrong?
well, to me, I forget what the stat is. My memory isn't that great right now. But I forget what the stat
Yeah.
is. But it's fairly high percentage that when Cody Hollister is in the game, it is a run game. It is a run.
Oh, it's insane. It's like 80%.
Yeah, I
or
want to say
something.
it's just over 80%. And here's a thought: put Hollister out there and throw the ball. Or how about it's nothing against Cody Hollister. I really like the guy as a person, but Yeah, I understand he's supposed to be this really good blocker, and I don't want to take anything away from the guy.
Hmm.
The guy's out there grinding all the time. I'm not going to talk bad about him. I am going to say that as a receiver, um, why? That's the
Yeah.
question that I have. Why? Um, I don't know what his receiving yards are on the season, but they can't be very much. Um, what is his receiving yards? I I don't even know. I can't remember. Um, I can't remember what
It's
his.
not much of anything at all. If it is, maybe 100
Yeah,
yards or something. Hollister,
I would
maybe,
be.
maybe, yeah, probably about 100, maybe. If y'all can look that up in the chat too. I mean, I'm not sure how many yards Hollister has this season.
I would really be surprised if he had 100 yards. Just to be honest with
Yeah.
you. In fact, I would almost bet you it's not even close to 100. Anybody know in the chat yet? I'm trying to look it up, but I, it appears right now he has 54 yards.
Wow. 54 whopping yards.
He's got he's got
Good Lord.
now this is on Google. I'm not looking at anything else. It's if I'm not mistaken, yeah, it says he has 3 receptions for 54 yards. Why?
Right.
No touchdowns. I mean, why?
And
Why? You're wasting a spot. If you're going to have him out there, I mean, you're giving up a someone who could at least be 200 or 300 yards on the season for essentially a a blocker. What, you telling me that no one else on this team as a wide receiver has the ability to block
yeah.
and catch passes? Don't get me wrong. I love Cody Hollister. He's out there grinding all the time, and he's kind of a bigger guy, 6'3", 6'4", something like that. 6'3", 6'4", nearly somewhere around 220. And I
Hmm.
get that, but I mean, you're taking snaps away from guys. If you're going to do that, I mean, didn't there's it aren't don't we have a couple of tight ends that no one's ever heard of? I can't remember. um, you know, uh,
Right.
that can go out there and do that kind of stuff. I think we drafted a tight end that can go out there and block. We've got a tight end, that's been on the team forever and a day, Jeff Swaim. I mean, there
Yeah.
there is there is there is a much better way to do what he wants done, um, with that blocking game without taking up a wide receiver spot.
And speaking of Swaim, I just want to, and we're going to talk about Swaim because this guy, every time I told the guy behind me at the game, I said, every time I see the number 87 on the field, I cringe. And this was one of the plays the other day.
Look how Cincinnati again has it all mugged up there.
Tannehill throws, and the ball bounced off the hands of Jeff Swaim. Very dangerous if there was a Cincinnati defender in the vicinity. It's incomplete.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I just don't get it. And so there on PFF you can look up tight ends and blocking. I think last week he was 31st in the league in blocking for tight ends. And we're sold this rhetoric by the Titans, by maybe it's the Titans media, who knows? Maybe it's I think it's more the coaching staff and Vrabel, we're sold this rhetoric and this story that Jeff Swaim is this amazing blocking tight end, you know, but he's not it. And I think he used to be. I think he used to be pretty good. I mean, maybe a couple years ago he was, but it seems like now he is just, I don't know. It's like he's regressed in the blocking department. He can't catch anymore. I mean, he'll make a easy catch every so often, but it's got to be a softie. I mean, one of those little loops, you know. Why are we not using Austin Hooper on that play? Why are we not using Chig on that play? I mean, is it a matter of, okay, they're not going to expect us to throw to Swaim, but yet if these defensive coaches are watching these games all season, they're expecting us to throw to Swaim because we always do. It's like, I don't know, man. And we'll talk about the positives. We got some highlights and stuff we'll show too. But
Well, when Swaim is when he is I call it swing blocking. I'm not sure what the Titans call it, but when he is what is known as a swing blocker, where he kind of does a combination block, where he'll hit that defensive tackle or defensive end, and then swing out to where that outside linebacker's coming around. He actually does that extremely well. That he does well. He does a chip block and then swing out. I call it a swing block, but when he does it, he does that very well. He's probably one of the best I've seen in the NFL at doing that. He can't catch, and he's not a good one-on-one blocker. He's just not.
yeah,
He's good at those quick hits and then another quick hit and to spring a play. That's what the Titans like, because when they run the ball and you got Derrick Henry out there running and you get that quick chip block to force that end, that defensive end to the inside, and then he chip blocks on the outside too by hitting that linebacker, getting upfield a little bit and hitting that linebacker and swing blocking. That creates that hole for Derrick Henry to get through, because Derrick doesn't need a big hole. He's too big, too fast, and it's too strong. He's going to blow right past you. So that's why I think that the Titans really like him, is because he plays into their game plan when it comes to that type of block. He can't catch. Well, I can't say he can't catch, because there's been times where he has caught in the past. But I just don't think he gets the reps at catching at the pass plays, that they're starting to go more to Chig. You've seen Chig play a lot more in that passing game. You'll see, they'll
right.
target him and things like that. And I think that he's taking a lot of snaps away from Swaim in that area. And without the reps, no reps means in a game you're not gonna do well. That's why coaches tell you to take every single rep in a practice seriously, and to give 100%. But when you don't get any, you don't get any.
And I do want to get to some of the positives. I mean, there were some positives out of the game, and one of the positives was Burks. He's starting to really show up in these games past a couple weeks since he's been back, making some really awesome plays. He's somebody that I think can be a real difference maker for us if we can just improve on offense. And man, if we can just get this offense somewhat clicking, I mean, half clicking, we would be a pretty darn good football team.
I would settle for
just a click.
I don't even want to click. I just want to cluck.
A cluck. I mean, for real, like if we could just get, I mean, it's crazy. We saw it during the Green Bay game. I mean, now, granted, Green Bay is not the Bengals. Green Bay is not the Eagles. Green Bay is not the Buffalo Bills. We had a great game. It was all hyped up. Everybody was talking about us after the game, and talking about Green Bay too. But it was hard for me to take away a whole lot from that game just because Green Bay is not a good football team. They're just not.
Yeah.
And I mean, but it was a positive step in the right direction. Now, I do want to show this Burks catch, and this is something that this is an AJ Brown type of catch right here. This was a
I'm off because that was a Thursday night game. Fake the handoff. Tannehill looking. Tannehill going to take a deep shot downfield. Burks goes up and gets it. Big grab. Rookie against rookie. Taylor Britt, the defender, 52 yards.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 91, defense, half the distance to the goal, automatic, first down.
And extra at the end of it, Hendrickson roughing the passer.
But how about this?
Beautiful, beautiful catch, man. I mean, that is an NFL top-notch, top player type of catch. Just in the play that he made, and we'll show that too here in a little bit, but the play that Henry, the screen, which was a beautiful play call, where he fumbled it in his end zone, Burks was there. I mean, Burks seems to be a guy that is hustling. You know, I mean, he kind of had that chip on his shoulder coming out of college where they said, like, you know, maybe his conditioning wasn't good. He was lazy in the workout and working out and conditioning and stuff, preparation. But it seems like that's not even correct at all. I mean, he's hustling down there for blocks. He's a capable blocker. He's making plays. He's as rookie wide receivers, he's number one in the league in separation yards on average. He's getting like 4 yards of separation. So he's a guy that they can probably lean on if they choose to.
Well, it turns out that his conditioning was a medical issue. If that's not widely known right now, or breaking news, that he had a medical condition, and they've alleviated some of that medical condition, and he's able to do that. This is the kind of thing that I think that kind of catch and his hustle play on the fumble, I think, are the things that are going to start making him more and more a focus of this offense, because I think Ryan's going to start trusting him more. As a rookie, you've got to earn that trust, and making plays like that earns the trust of your quarterback. It earns the trust of your team. And I think that is the epitome of what's going to happen soon, is that you're going to start seeing him more and more of a focus, which is going to open up some other wide receivers, because they're going to have to double team a guy that big. He's that big, that strong, that fast. That he's going to start out muscling people. Therefore, you're going to have to start rolling safeties over top to really give help. And the other guy who I thought was a huge positive, I think he had a play or two that he didn't look that great on, but it was really good coverage, was McCreary. Yeah, he as a corner is starting to really play a lot better than I thought. Me personally, I may echo over here. I think me personally, I did not think that was a good pick, and I was wrong about that. He's balling.
Yeah. And he got beat like by Higgins once, but it was highly contested. I mean, he was right there with him. Higgins is just a hell of an athlete. I mean, he's like 6'5". I mean, the guy is just a beast out there, and he's having a career year. I mean, and I felt like the defense, they played well. They just didn't get pressure. The Bengals offensive line, I mean, hats off to them. I don't know if you heard that guy after the game, Carrasa, cussing the fans and stuff while he's leading the thing. I just can't stand the Bengals. I really want to beat them so bad. I mean, it's just, I can't stand them, man. They're just, the way they are on the field, they talk so much crap, and they're, the first drive of the game, little Joey comes out and gets that half field. It's like the second first down they get, and he drops the ball on the logo. And it's just like, and look, all power to them. They won, whatever. I'm a salty fan. Call me what you will. But it's just like, they just talk so much crap, dude. And it's like the swagger of their whole team that pisses me off. And, but, we're more than likely going to have to either face these guys again. It just depends. We could face them again. We could be facing the Bills. Probably the Chiefs will probably end up getting a number 1 seed. But, there's some of these teams, man, where, we're going to have to play again. And at this point in the season, we've not really beat anybody that's that good. We beat the Commanders, who were, they were 1-3 when we beat them, and Carson Wentz was playing like crap. They're 7-5 now, but there's been a big deal made about this. We haven't beat a winning team, but we've played the Chiefs very close. We played Cincinnati very close. And I'll ask you this, and we'll ask the chat too. I wanted to post this real quick. Titans Fox says, James, I love your takes, especially after a full day of hearing our own fans hate on the team. So there you go. But I did want to ask you this. Do you feel, and you being, I know you're the analytical mind guy. You really look at things in a different light than most people, because you've coached before and you kind of know more about that side of things and the X's and O's and the inner workings. Do you think that this team, can they win a playoff game? Can they win the big game? Because right now, you're not really showing it during this season.
Okay.
We got the Eagles coming up, so we got another shot, but
yeah. Okay. My honest opinion is, if we can really get Burks going, that will set off Woods. Okay. Robert Woods is not a number 1 receiver. He's not. He is a really good number 2 receiver. Robert Woods has never been a number 1 receiver. If we can get Burks to be that number 1 guy,
right.
If we can get that going, along with our tight ends being more involved into the game, not only do I think can we win a playoff game, I think can win the Super Bowl, because our defense will be getting healthier. Statistically, in the passing game, we're getting better and better every week. Our run game is the reason for that. You've got to have 8 and 9 men in the box to stop our run. And if they're committing that many, and we've got the passing game, I'm having to take this slow. I'm having to go through this with what I've been going through medically lately. But if we can do that and continue to improve, and we can get and we can get some guys back on that offensive line, there is no way that you can't tell me that we're better than any team that we're going to see in the AFC. There's no way you can't tell me that we're not. We are better than any other team in the AFC. Defensively, we get guys back healthy. Tierra Tart gets to 100%, because you could tell just by watching his play this week, he was not 100%. Big Jeff Simmons, I don't think he was 100% either. We get those guys healthy. Hey, look, this team is a Super Bowl caliber team. So, to me, yes, I think we can win games. I think we can win games in the postseason. And I think that is what the staff is looking at. If we can, and then after that, all we have to get is good play calling. I know that our play calling in the postseason has been lacking. But I think it's getting better. And that's another thing. I just don't know At I don't know when this is all going to pop off. With the DUI thing. The NFL could call up tomorrow morning and say, "Hey, look, we have all the stuff we need. You're going to have to suspend him," or or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. The Titans just have a lot of things kind of over there, looming over there. These big clouds are looming over their heads right now, so it's really hard to predict uh, what's going on, what's going to happen in the future. But if all things
Right.
go as I think they're going to progress, I think the Titans are a Super Bowl caliber team. And it didn't look like that after the first 2 or 3 games of the season. Uh,
Right. And
so
team leader asked, can they beat? Then James answers some of that. But I mean, yeah, I think I agree with you there. If Burks can become the weapon that he could be, I mean, we could. I mean, I think also I think we're really feeling the effects of not having Autry out there. I mean,
yeah,
he's your sack leader. You already lost the sack leader from last season in Harold
mhm,
Landry. Autry picked up that slack in a big way, and Autry is a hell of a is awesome in the run defense department too.
mhm,
I mean, he's wrapping up running backs all the time, and he's super athletic. Way more athletic than he's very underrated in that department. And I feel like that, you know, I feel like you missed two of the most major pieces on your line. I mean, other than Simmons, but Autry on the offensive side or on the defensive side, Ben Jones on the offensive side. It's a big deal. It's a big deal missing those two guys. And
yes,
hopefully
it
we
is.
get them back for the Eagles because we're going to need to play our best game against the Eagles defensively. I kind of look at this game too. If you look at it as a glass half full type of thing with the Bengals, we didn't play our best game at all. I
Mhm,
mean, we have not. I mean, on defense, we didn't play. I mean, we played good, but not how we can play. We kind of played a kind of haphazard type of game, and we still only lost by 4 points and almost had a
mhm,
chance to get it, to tie the game up. So I mean, if we
yeah,
don't make that stupid penalty or non-penalty or whatever it is, we almost have a chance to get the ball back with 2 minutes. And they during the game they had a really good 2 minute drive. Well, it didn't end up in touchdown, but um, you know, who knows? I mean, they might have went down and scored the tying touchdown. You know,
I think
so
one of the
we
things
almost
that's
had a chance.
I think one of the things that's really hurting the Titans more, when I'm talking about the offensive side here, I think that one of the things offensively that's hurting the Titans more than what people want to think is the fact that we don't really have that slot receiver guy. That guy who we can throw to when it's 3rd and 5, who's going to be able to get open and has good hands across the middle of the field. We just don't have him. And that slot guy is that not having that slot guy is killing us because you know
Yep.
if you have that guy, and that means the linebacker has to stay put, and then that means that you can sneak that tight end out in kind of that flat, and he's going to be one on one. And I would put Chig or I would you know I don't want to say that, but I would put Chig out there against uh just about anybody to pick up that 5 yards. And then if you could put Austin Hooper out there, and he's going to get that 5 yards. So me personally, I think that's
Hmm.
hurting the Titans a lot, is not having that threat where that linebacker has to stay put to
Right.
to guard against that. And we just don't have that. We don't have that quick twitch guy out there. And for whatever reason, I don't know. They're going out there and picking up guys who were bagging groceries yesterday and putting them out there on the field in that spot, and it's really kind of kind of hurting us. I mean, you know, I don't understand the board pickup, the CJ board pickup.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there are guys on the team that are just as good or better that are already there, that are familiar with the offense. And I don't get it. Um, why expend that money in that roster spot? It doesn't
I
make any
don't get
sense.
it either, man.
I mean, but
And
you know, he's he's pretty good at punt returns, I guess.
yeah,
I, I don't get it, but we don't have that guy out there, and I think the Titans have been planning for Phillips to be out there, and
hmm
he's on IR, so with
and they're
with no
saying
date to
that
return.
right, and they asked Vrabel about Phillips, and they just said we'll have to evaluate him. But I mean, technically, he could return this week, and somebody else too could return that was on IR or something like that. And another thing too, and we're gonna go about another 15 minutes, and we'll call it quits here. And thank you guys for tuning in. Please tighten up that like button, and we appreciate all your support here at the Titan Upload Network as a whole. Um, the Titans have had this issue, right?
Mhm.
Containing quarterbacks when they get out. This was Kevin Byard after, I think this was today, actually.
I watched the film. I think he had some pretty good rush lanes a couple of times. Like you said, the defensive linemen, especially on third downs, in different situations, they have different rush games that they have called, and it didn't look like the execution, the communication with that was clean enough. And then obviously when you scramble on the back end, sometimes we're plastering receivers at the time, so he's finding open spots. So he didn't have any. I think I don't know if his longest run was like 15 yards or something like that, but he did make some key scrambles when he needed to.
So that's an issue that we've had, and now you got, I guess we can get in the next week a little bit too, but now you got Jalen Hurts, who is just killing it. I mean, honestly, he's insane in running the football. I mean, he's a guy that can really hurt you in a lot of different ways. I feel like that we're a good matchup for them. I feel like I mean, we have the speed with Long, to contain. It's just Long didn't have his best performance during this Bengals game. A lot of guys kind of weren't up to their top play. But how do you feel about this game, and how do you feel about the defense's ability to be able to contain Jalen Hurts?
Well, if Tart is, I think the reason why Long didn't have such a great game was really he was asked to kind of um, play a little less aggressive. At least I would have asked him, knowing that Tier Tart's not 100%, knowing that we're down on defensive ends and and we're not playing very well at the defensive end spot. I would have probably asked him to kind of cover a little bit of that. So I think that was the game plan defensively. Um, if Tart is closer to 100%, which I do believe he will be, and um, we start getting a little bit better play um, off of our defensive end positions, wow, he's going to have a monster game. When it
Yeah.
comes to what what the interesting spot is going to be, how they decide to cover AJ Brown. That's going to be the interesting spot, because if they can contain AJ Brown, he is their big play guy on that outside. If they can contain him and maybe play a little bracket coverage on him, that could be devastating to that Eagles offense. So I think
Right.
the matchup favors the Titans in the fact that I don't think that the Eagles' defensive line is going to be able to really contain our run game like some of these other teams have been able to do. Our run game, and then you have the threat of, okay, let's play action pass and then and then pass it right to Derrick Henry. That's going to be, that's going to be tough to defend if I am, um, if I'm the Eagles defense, that's going to keep me up at night because now I've seen it on tape. He's going to be one
Right.
on one. I mean, you can't double team everybody. You're not going to be able to double team the tight end, Burks. You're not going to be able to double team Derrick Henry. You can't double team everybody. So you got to choose who you are and are not. And personally, I think that they're not going to double team Burks, and he's going to have a great game. So the way I see the Titans winning this game, it is going to be what I call an ugly game. And as a coach, I love ugly games. It's going to be whoever can take the most punches in the mouth and get up off that floor.
Right.
And I think the Titans' style of play is exactly that. Punch us in the mouth, we're going to get back up. Punch us in the mouth again, we're
Right.
going to get back up. But can you take our punches to the mouth? And we've got some big dudes out there, at these skill positions. Burks is a big dude, uh, you know, uh, um, and we have. I think this is going to be the game and where you are going to see what the Titans' offense is going to look like as we go into the postseason. This is the game I think we're
Right.
going to see Austin Hooper, Traylon Burks, Chig really start to make their mark, and that's going to open up that run game. Um, and you're going to see the King go out there, and don't sleep on Hilliard. I mean, that's where I really think the Titans are going to really begin to start hurting people is that, when the King isn't out there, Hilliard's going to gash you too,
Yeah.
you know. And my question is, when are we getting? Um, I'm trying to think when I think we're getting um, our kicker back.
Racy?
No, our kicker
Oh, Bullet?
Bullock back. When is Fat Randy coming back?
Hopefully next week. I mean, I hope, I mean, did you see, and y'all let me know in the chat too, when I was in the stands, that kicker was tiny. I mean,
Yeah.
he looked like a midget out there. I looked over to the guy next to me. I said, is he, I shouldn't say midget. I guess he looked like a little person. I mean, dude, he was like, I was like, he's got to be like 4'11". I mean, he was so tiny, dude. Somebody said he was like 5'6", 5'7". I was like, who is this? They brought a 12-year-old out to kick for us.
He's actually 5'7", but that just goes to show you how big our guys are.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we got some tree trunks out there, but Randy, he is a guy that doesn't miss very often. When he's hot, he doesn't miss very often. So my question is, how rusty is Randy going to be being out for so long?
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta understand that the Titans did not have a lot of time to find a kicker. So I think
Somebody told me that Shudak was in competition with Randy before the season, and that he was doing really well in training camp, but he got hurt, and they were thinking about sticking with Shudak, the little fella.
Well, I mean, he just does. I mean, he doesn't have the range that Randy does, and my understanding was that it was going to come down to range, and that a lot of people were expecting Randy to get the nod either way because Randy has a little bit more range. Um, so I feel that with with a little bit of a edge on on our kicking game, that when we're in a fight like I think we're going to be in this weekend, this is going to be a slobber knocker. This is going to be one of those ones that I think you're going to be watching and going, these teams are going to need an ice bath after this game because that's where I think this game's going. And I think that it's going to be one of those knockdown, drag out, whoever's last man standing. I think there's going to be a lot of little injuries that occur in this game. But I think the Titans match up well because I mean, look at the Titans' schedule this year and the games they won: 24-17, 21-17, 19-10. The Titans play close games. They know how to play close games, and they know how to win
Yeah.
those. So what was it, 23, 26, wasn't it? And the Titans are built to win those close games. They're not really built to run away from teams, you know, 38-0 or 38-17, or that's not how they're built. They're built to be in the game at in the last 2 minutes of the game, march the ball down the field and win the game, which I think had that penalty not occurred, I think that's what the Titans were going to do.
And they had the penalty. There was a couple questions. That one on it was so funny what Vrabel said. The one on Higgins. I don't know if you heard this. I'll play it real quick. But he was talking about on the no call on T. Higgins. Maybe for offensive pass interference or something. The one where I don't know if it was the end zone. I think it was the end zone catch.
Everybody told me the ref reached at it. Maybe his hip was itching and he reached at his flag and then decided not to throw it. I don't know. But, I think we have to try to obviously go and play as physical as we can without, you play the ball and you get to be a little bit more physical. But, I think the guy made a play.
Yeah, that was that touchdown. He's talking about that touchdown.
And Vrabel rarely talks about, like or questions penalties like that, I guess. I think I got the play. Let's play it. I think this is the play.
Chasing, they threw it to him.
So the Bengals are in business. Burrow uncorks it. End zone. Touchdown. T. Higgins. Cincinnati takes the lead. 1-on-1. Higgins wins.
I didn't see. Was that the one?
Yeah. He uses his he goes up and he
kind of pushes off.
He has one hand kind of up, his front hand's kind of up, and he takes his back hand and just does this. He doesn't fully extend, and lots of times that's where you get OPI, is when they fully extend that arm.
Yeah.
Was it technically offensive pass interference? Yes. Would I, as a ref, call it? Probably not. That was good defense. And that was, those are some tricks that you teach receivers. Hey, as long as you don't extend that arm all the way out, the ref's not going to call it. And that is pretty standard in all officiating. Did he push off? Yeah, but I think you could call push off on just about every wide receiver in the league on just about every play where a pass is caught. You can't. It's just those things are kind of like holding calls. You can call holding on every single play. You can't.
This is a great comment by Hendanger. He says, including yesterday's game, We have the longest active streaks of games holding opponents to 20 points or less. That 8 in a row. The second is 40. So that's a heck of a stat, man, for the defense. That's a heck of a stat.
We have a heck
So
of
we're
a
the
defense.
only.
I mean,
We do. We really do. I mean, we really do.
yeah. And I think
This,
that's why I think that that's another reason why I think that we get in the playoffs, we're going to be able to make a good playoff run, just because our defense is that good.
right.
I think that, how do I put this? I'm a Titans fan, but I do have to say this. I think that the Titans really need to do offensively some soul searching. They really do. It sometimes, to me, it seems like one or two players on that offense is really putting in that extra little effort, and I think that kind of, how do I put this? I don't want to sound kind of like a homer or a guy that is uh, making excuses, but I really think that losing Taylor Lewan kind of took some of our punch in the mouth on that offense line and some of those players, because Taylor Lewan, he plays with a lot of passion, and yeah, he does some bonehead things, but he
Yeah.
also kind of makes everybody else a little tougher, if you know what I mean. And that's what we're missing on that offensive line. We're missing tougher guys. We're missing guys who.
I think.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say. I think, Ben Jones kind of brings that too. And especially when you're out Lawan and Ben Jones, it's hard to make up for a guy like Ben Jones. His toughness, his knowledge of the game. I mean, I'm sure he's gets some of those young guys in line. Probably helps MPF out a lot. And Radens and everybody else. I mean, he's a monumental force on that offensive line, and
I think those two
I
guys are.
100% agree with you there.
You ask anybody in the NFL and you say, you can bring two guys with you into a phone booth, and we're going to put Ben Jones and Taylor Lewan in there healthy in that phone booth. There's not a single. They're going to go, look, I'm not going in that phone booth. I'm not going in there. Yeah, that's just not.
Right.
That's not something I want to risk. And those are those are the kind of guys that are hard to replace when they're out. Their leadership and just their, hey, imagine you going out there and screwing up, and Ben Jones or Taylor Lewan or both of them walk up to you and say, stop doing that. What are you gonna do? You're not gonna do it again.
I'm gonna smack him. I'm just gonna smack him.
I'll visit you in traction at the hospital. Because
yeah. Oh,
those are
I
just
might not
guys.
take you to the hospital.
Those are just guys that I think bring a different level of toughness. I think all guys are tough, but they just bring a what I call crazy tough. You know what I mean? Guys who are just crazy tough. Like, they're tough, but they're also crazy, and they know that they're tough and crazy. So it brings another level. I'm just my concern with the Titans right now is simply how do the Titans respond to this loss? It's a heartbreaking loss because you have to get
That's
the
what
ball
I
back.
want to see.
The usual suspects, your Derrick Henrys, your Ryan Tannehills, your essentially the entire defense. I think you're going to see them respond well. It's the other guys, how does how do the young players like Chig, um, Nicholas? I can't say his last name. Petit Frere. Um, how do they respond? They're young. If they get up there and they say, "Hey, look, we're not going to," yeah, that's a was it Kenny that said that? Kenny Pennington said, we got bullied. If they go out there and they say, "That's it, we're not getting bullied anymore.
Yeah.
That's it. We're,"
Yeah.
I will take a penalty as a coach. I would take a penalty for someone um not retaliating, but really kind of being a little too rough. You know what I'm saying? I think what was it? What was the name of that movie? The Blind Side, where he blocks him into he blocks him into the end zone. I'll take that penalty
Right.
any day. Twice on Sundays, as long as you show me you're being tough and smart. You don't do it in a
Right.
critical down situation.
Um.
So, I,
Yeah, man. Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see how we do respond. If we can, I mean, if we can somehow go out and pull off the win, and I do think the Bengals the Eagles are beatable. They've haven't played well the last. I mean, they lost, and then they didn't play well the last game. They won by a point to what the Colts. Wasn't it the Colts they played last week?
yeah,
And so I mean, or this week, I don't know. No, last week they won by like a point or something. Who did they play the other night? I can't remember. I was
let me look it up.
watching. It was last night. But I think they won big last night. They won like 40-33, but they still, yeah, they
Yeah, it was Eagle Colts.
won
Yeah,
40-33.
Eagles
Yeah, it was the
Colts.
Colts. I mean, the
The
Colts.
20th.
Yeah, so I mean, they won the game, but I mean, they put up a lot of points on them. No, it was the Packers last night. It was the
Yeah.
Colts last week, but last
Yeah.
night the Eagles won 40-33. Um, but I mean, it was kind of a weird game too. But Jalen Hurts, I think he had over 100 yards rushing, something crazy like that. Yeah, 157 yards rushing. So I mean, they didn't play their best defensively, um, and anything like that. But the week before, they beat the Colts 17-16. So I mean, these guys are beatable. You know what I mean? They can be beat. Um, so we'll see what happens. And it was the Commanders that actually beat them. But so we'll see what happens, man. I hope they bounce back. And sometime either Wednesday or Friday night, I'm not sure yet, guys, but we'll have a thumbnail made for it and a link and everything. One of my very good friends, who is also actually one of my bosses at work, he is a massive Eagles fan. He's from Philly. Really good dude. He's going to come on here. Got a lot of good insight into the Eagles as well. He's going to come on here, and we might have Bird Gang on here. Bird Gang is a YouTuber, and he's got I think he's got over 5,000 subscribers or something. But he might be on here with my boss Kevin. Of course, if you're available, you're more than welcome to come on. I'd rather have 2-on-2 than 1-on-2. So, but it should be a good show. I will probably do it. I mean, we might have to do it Friday night. I'm not sure. I think Bird Gang's working Wednesday, but we might have to do it Friday night or Saturday. We'll figure it out where we can all be available. But anyways, you got anything else, man? I'm gonna shut it down here in a minute. But you got anything else, brother?
Well, I'm going to start putting out videos here soon. I'm still kind of recovering. I'm doing a little physical therapy here and there. Um, So I'm hoping to begin to start making videos this weekend. It's just been a little rough. There was several days where I couldn't talk without stuttering, and it was awful. It was difficult.
Yeah.
And tonight, I've been speaking a little slower than usual, and so you know, th- I just want everybody to think. When they start criticizing the Titans and they start talking about the Titans and they start downing the Titans, I want everyone to think after the first few games of this season, we'll say the first 4 games of this season, did you think the Titans would be the top of the AFC South by a long shot? And if
Yeah.
you did, then I think that you probably, need to have your head examined. But, if you were like the rest of us thinking, oh my God, the season's over, this is going to be awful, we're terrible, there's no way. Look, the Titans are going to make the playoffs because I don't see anybody in the AFC South making a run. And I don't
Right.
see the Titans giving up that AFC South. So think about that and then think about where we are now and take a chill pill. You
Right.
know, I'm not everyone knows I'm not a fan of our offensive coordinator. I never have been. I don't think that I think he was thrust into the situation and he wasn't ready. And for all those who are out there talking about, oh, we need to play Malik, we need to play Malik. I said this from the moment he was drafted until now. It would be 2 years before he's ready. Don't put this poor kid out
Right.
there when he's not ready because he's going to either get injured or B, he's going to be so messed up in the head by the time he gets out there. It'll set him back another year. Give him time to
So
develop.
yeah, and I agree with you there 100%. So we'll just check in with this game real quick, then we'll wrap it up. Pittsburgh and Indy playing tonight. Which surprisingly, Pittsburgh is winning this game 24-17, 30 seconds to go. I don't know. I guess Indianapolis, they're 4th and 3 right now. On the 26-yard line, something like that. Oh, on the Pittsburgh 26. So they are in scoring range. Let us know in the chat real quick if they do score or whatever. But hopefully, looks like 4th and 3. Matt Ryan, incomplete pass to the left, intended for Paris Campbell. So it looks like they didn't. Yeah, they didn't convert it. It looks like Pittsburgh's going to hold on, if I'm correct from what I'm reading here. So, I mean, that puts them another game back. And, Jacksonville's playing better. Jacksonville's no shoe-in now either.
Yeah.
Jacksonville's no bum either. I mean, they're, Trevor Lawrence, he's had some games now. I mean, he's had some games where he's looked really good, especially last game. So that's not a shoe-in either. So Titans need to, get something going on offense. Hopefully we can make a little run towards the end of the season here and have a good December. Anyways, that's all, folks. We thank you so much for your time today. We do appreciate it. Tighten up that like button for us, and we'll catch you later on in the week. Like I said, we'll put out a thumbnail and let you guys know. Follow me on Twitter at Titans Rossi, on Instagram Titans Rossi. Follow Titans for Life on Twitter at Big Sportsman 3 and his YouTube channel, Titans for Life. He's got some great content. He'll be releasing some more soon. So tighten up, everybody.
Keep it real.